BeastNet Podcast, sponsored in part by James Safety Services, OCR Buddy, and supported by the fitness community. Here we discuss all things fitness related, running, rucking, mental health and preparedness, and of course, obstacle course racing. Welcome to the BeastNet.
We don't bite hard.
Hey everybody, it's Mike here with BeastNet, and today I got with me Brother Boggs. You got the two main people from BeastNet. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good, I guess. Yeah, we got the founder with you, and we got the manager with me, and I just like to sit here in the background and stay out of the limelight. But going into February, what are we? This layer Monday, so 8 days I think until the first race of the year.
Yep. Yeah, we're not doing that race, but More Heart Than Scars will be there. And that's the Jacksonville Spartan races.
Yep. So if you're new to the show and you don't know, we've pretty much aligned ourselves very heavily with the teams like More Heart Than Scars, who we travel the country with, Oscar Mike, who we've done a bunch of races with, Ainsley's Angels for our friends. We've really kind of changed the direction of ourselves into more of a volunteer background for Mike and I. It's definitely changed our outlooks on life. Spending the time out on course with adaptive athletes or people with, visible and invisible scars has just been amazing. And really, I think it for me, and I think I've heard you say it also, it saved OCR for us. We were done.
Yeah, we were done. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people don't know. They've heard me say it, but a lot of people, I haven't really mentioned the fact that me and Dawn had talked about just being done with it and trying to figure out. We even talked about what direction we wanted to go with BeastNet, since we were like, we're done with OCR. This is just there's nothing left in this community for us. Yeah.
And that is really the sad thing, because before COVID, there was a striving community with lots of people involved. We would host workouts with Beast OCR or host a Spartan workout, and we'd have 100 people there.
Yeah.
And then after COVID, we can't get 4 or 5 people. There's no community left to OCR, especially in the Pacific Northwest. There's little pockets, but you got up and ran away, and
I did.
Kudos to you. You found a good workmate down there, and you're keeping going. And I'm still up here in the dark with a bunch of people that are afraid to go out and work out in the snow.
Yeah. No, I've Jamie has been amazing down here. Which I mean, some people know I met Jamie, and I think the first time I talked to her about on the podcast was the first time I did the Dallas Ultra. And that's when I met Jamie. She was my savior on the Ultra. She'll tell you the opposite, that I was her savior, but we saved each other on the Ultra. So once I knew she lived in Conroe, which was the town we've been looking at from the beginning when we've talked about moving to Houston, it was just amazing. So now that we're down here, I've been doing training with her, and I've also found the URUC Endurance Club, which is amazing. So they're the ones that make the ruck straps, which if you don't have ruck straps on your ruck, you need them.
You have a good point there, because I know you get 5-10 miles into rucking, and all of a sudden your neck starts to hurt, your shoulders do, and you're grabbing at your straps trying to pull them up. But if you got those ruck straps that actually mount to the ruck and pull it up, it takes all that pressure off your lower back when you're out on a long ruck.
It does, and you can just lift your arms up. And I mean, I think you saw pictures when I was back home with you, and we did the ruck where I was lifting up, just taking that pressure off my shoulders, and it's amazing the way it feels to be able to do that. So, yeah. So, I mean, I love those, and like I said, I'm in Juan Carlos, who is basically one of the inventors for a ruck strap. He's the one that runs the URUC rucking club down here. So we've been having a blast with him. I think I'm going to get him on an episode here soon. I'm trying to talk him into joining us in Houston. So at the Houston Spartan weekend, which any of my listeners that are in the Houston area, if you want to go to that weekend, let me know. We could definitely use some bodies for help.
Yeah. And that's that's an official More Heart Than Scars race. It is a very, very long drive for those that are coming over, and they won't probably have near as much equipment on tap, but you're going to be there, and I think Joey and Angie and a bunch of other people are going to be there, and it's going to be a great time.
think Hobbit said she's going to make it. One thing a lot of people don't know is, I mean, we started off, I think, with one athlete for Houston, and I think at this point we're up to 3 chairs. So, so we're
And
definitely
that,
going to need some help.
yeah, and that is a huge change because generally working in the Southeast, more heart than scars, we'll have 40, 50 people out there at a race supporting the chairs. Each chair takes at minimum, really 4 is the absolute minimum. We ran that on an ultra, but 7 is kind of the key number per chair. So with 3 chairs, you need at least 21 volunteers.
Yeah.
And right now, I think we've got 12. So if you're listening and you're in the Houston area and you want to get out and do something that will just make you feel amazing afterwards, reach out to myself, reach out to Mike, reach out to Joey McGlamory. We'll get you on course to help support us because we're definitely going to need it there. Unfortunately, my travel schedule is not letting me come to Houston, which is a big bummer because, I actually have a place to stay there and it's not going to be in a hotel, but
You do, but you want to be in the guest room's already taken, just so you know.
yeah.
Dave beat you
But
to that.
who did?
Dave.
Oh, Dave's coming down?
Yep, Dave's coming down.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome. We're going to have the Common Man OCR on course too.
yep. Which I'm hoping, since he'll be staying at my house and there's a studio here, that there may be an episode with him. The only thing that'll be, I might be able to make it work. Find a way to make it so that we can both be on video. I have some ideas.
All right. My travel schedule, which is kind of part of the reason that I wanted to hop on with Mike tonight, was the big announcement that More Heart Than Scars is definitely moving west. We made it to Dallas, we made it to Houston. A couple years ago, Joey flew out to Colorado and did a race. Well, in 2024, we are all set to do 2 races in California this year, and 1 trifecta weekend in Washington are on the books, as well as, right now there's a total of, I want to say it's like 62 events, which in some cases, and this was something that happened last year, we had 3 chairs in 3 different states doing races. And that is a huge accomplishment from where we started. If you look at the old pictures and the old videos, for training, they used to use a red wagon and they would tow Erica around Zach's house. That's literally how they started out with things like that. Or, the first race Zach ever did, they were out there with just regular climbing rope and a hospital wheelchair. And, they realized they could do better. And now we're doing everything we can and we're doing it coast to coast.
Yeah, so that's gonna be the fun part in Houston. We're gonna have, luckily in Houston, that's the only thing that happened that weekend, and we're gonna have 3 actual chairs here. Because that was the one thing I guess Ainsley's Angels, who we're working with down here, they were gonna just bring normal wheelchairs, and we're like, no, we got something better. So yeah, so Joey's got that all set up. I pretty much told him, just tell me where you want me to be, and I'll be there. And and that's the one thing is I have to tell everyone, if you come down here and you volunteer, that's the attitude you got to walk in with. Don't walk in with an attitude of you want to do this, you're going to do that. You walk in with the attitude of, what does Joey want?
Yep. It's just, where do you need to be, coach?
Yep.
And it's literally how it is. And I guarantee at the end of that race, if it's your first race going out with one of these adaptive athlete teams, whether it be More Heart Than Scars, Oscar Mike, Ainsley's Angels, Operation Enduring Warrior, any of those teams, you go out with them, you finish a race with them, it will change your life.
It will. It did me, like I said, for me, it was one of those things. I talked to him. I'd helped once in Seattle. I'd helped with Nicole to get her, but she was pretty much walking through that whole thing. So that was amazing. This one, I finally got to do, in Dallas with Marla, which was amazing, even though there was issues, but we're gonna make that up for her in Fayetteville. And then did World's Toughest, and we did 30 miles, pulling and pushing that chair, and I got a chance to pretty much be on a couple different spots in the chair. I still have not been a brake, and I still haven't been the horse yet.
Those are
I got to be the pony for a minute. What's that?
As I say, those are probably the 2 hardest, because as the brake, you're the chair leader.
Yep.
And as the horse, man, you're the horse. You're the one that's pulling the cart.
And I was not in the shape to do that then, but I did, just about all I think I did pony for a few minutes. Pony's a weird one for me because every time I do that one, I think of, yeah, Gene Simmons. But
Yeah.
I had to get that video and I sent it to, oh God, what's her, Amanda. I sent it to Amanda and I'm like, because I kept saying it. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I sent it to her and she's like, no, I'm never going to not think of that when they say pony. And I'm like, good, that I've done my part.
And that's
So
the
if you
other
don't know
thing.
what I'm talking about, look up I'm a Pony, Gene Simmons, and you'll get it.
That's the other thing. The camaraderie and the family on course.
Yeah.
It's what's been missing from Spartan post COVID.
It has. And that was the thing for me. Before COVID, everything like that, everyone remember I would always talk about my family, my race wives, my race family, all of it. Since COVID, I just haven't had that. And then luckily on this last, this these races with More Heart Than Scars, I found that again. And that's the part to me that was amazing.
You talked about another one of the big highlight races. This year, we're going to be out at Fayetteville. Marla's Revenge Race, as we're calling it.
Yes.
That's going to be an interesting one. Joey's going to be in Machu Picchu, I think, or some other random country leading a group. So we're going to have a team out there without the race director, and it's going to be an amazing time. But we're planning lots of backups and plans to make sure everything works. At that race, again, if you want to come out and cheer us on or volunteer, reach out ahead of time. I'm pretty sure we're going to have more than one athlete at that race, so there's going to be plenty that weekend to do.
Yeah.
The biggest highlight for me this year is going to be, June 1st down in California. I believe they call it the Monterey weekend. We're going to have Mariana out there who has cerebral palsy and she's deaf. Last year, she was able to do a Deka mile and do 2 sprints. And this year, Joey and I got on the horn with her and discussed what her plans were. And we are going to get her through her first trifecta. So in 1 year, she'll finally get to do all 3 races. She's never been able to do a beast. And the thought of 13 miles, was pretty daunting. But, every day I see her checking in on Facebook, working out, and just always a beacon of joy and shining happiness. So I know that even if it's the worst 13 and a half miles in Central Florida when we do her beast at the end of the year, we're still all going to have fun doing it. But back to the super in California. June 1st, we're going to have her out and we're going to do a super in California. And then we'll be out there on Sunday for the sprint, carrying the flag and helping anybody else out on course. So if you want to meet myself or Joey or Ted, we should all be there. I believe Joy might even be flying out. So it's going to be a good bit of the Southeast team coming out. And we would love to meet more of you on the West Coast. The way that we make this a huge, bigger, best, nothing like it event is we grow the nonprofit on the West Coast. And that is why we're flying everybody out. And we're starting to support individual athletes on the West Coast.
And depending on how things go with some things here for me in Houston, that's the hard part is just being my first year in Houston, and hitting some of the earlier races. I'm hoping that I'll be able to fly out for at least one of those. I'm hoping for the Seattle race to see, because that was my home race for years, but we don't know. So considering I'm going to be in Seattle in June and July, but for 2 other races.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be cool. You're going to be up there for the Sisu in
Team BeastNet.
June.
We got to get back to our 3rd place. I'd like to get better than 3rd, but last year we didn't even get 3rd. But there was a lot more teams this year, which was amazing. So, and a lot more competition. So we have our team set. I just finished setting it. It's me, Chris, and Virginia.
That ought to be a heck of a group because Virginia has no quit in her.
No, and she was there last year and it whooped her butt. And she wants revenge. So she's come back for revenge. I've been pushing a lot harder this year, partly because I've got an Ironman coming up in 2 months. So I've been pushing a lot harder, but I've got some new training things that I've been working with. So
And then in July, you'll be back, and it sounds like you're going to make me do a Ragnar finally.
maybe I'm hoping. I mean, if you can make it, I would love to, but right now we're trying to figure it out. I think we might have a sixth, but I have room for you. So
Well,
if not
as
in
it
my van, you can be in
sits,
Kelly's van.
I'm supposed to be out of town the week before and the week after, so
Well,
I
let me
might
know if you're in.
be able to make that work.
If you're in, we'll make it work. You can get the van for me.
Just got to clear it with the boss.
No, we're screwed.
And of course, I happen to drive a Ford Excursion or two different minivans.
So yeah, if you do that, then I don't have to rent a minivan. But yeah, which would be good because well, actually, what part of the thing is too, what we might do because we do, you know this, but most people may not. I have still have a storage unit up there, and we keep finding random crap that's in that storage unit that I need. So when I go back there for Ragnar. We're actually gonna rent or whatever a minivan to take back with us, and we're gonna load up that and take all the stuff back.
And that'll save you $100 a month anyways, right?
Yeah. So that'll save us. But I mean, if you have something we can use instead of having to rent, because I looked up renting for that week, just for the weekend, for a van is 500
$100.
bucks.
As I say, 400 and something.
Yeah, about
I
500
do know
bucks.
that because that's, again, going to California and having Joey fly in with a wheelchair and stuff. I've got to rent a minivan and be able to do that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
we've already experienced a little bit of that.
Yeah, because the last couple years, we've been able to use one of the team members' vehicles. So, and this year, the guy that had the vehicle last year is out because his kids, damn kids, have a mountain bike tournament that weekend. So,
Oh, that's horrible.
yeah, and he also broke his leg, but he could still outrun me with a broken leg anyway. I mean, it's Dan. He's quick.
True. Um, Other big events that are going on this year that are official races uh, for More Heart Than Scars. I got to say the bear crawl down in North Carolina that's put on by the founding wife of the More Heart Than Scars. Wendy's going to be down there. That's her race. They do that every year. It's a huge event where we have a lot of turnout for the team. Uh, and then
And that's different than the bear crawl they're doing for Spartan, right?
yes. So there's I know Dan. Did Dan talk about the bear crawl? He did
He
talk
did
about.
mention the bear crawl. He talked about it.
All right. So the bear crawl race is a OCR put on by More Heart Than Scars and Wendy, formerly Paven. I forgot her last name again. It starts with a G. But so she puts that on. But what Dan's doing is really cool. Him and a couple other people, or anybody that wants to dress up as a bear at a couple of the races, Dan's going to take them all out on the kids course to go and do a bear crawl for the entire course while raising money and raising donation bears for the local children's hospital.
Which is amazing.
Children's hospital, police force, etc. Dan's been doing some amazing things. I've really enjoyed talking with him these last few months. Really since I spent a lot of time with him at the Central Florida Spartan last year with the VA wave, which was the second annual VA wave, and now the VA wave has spread out into so much more. They're actually doing a VA wave or a heroes run at Jacksonville and at Tampa, a whole bunch of the Southeast ones. And if we can get this going across the country, Spartan and the Veterans Administration, that'd be a hell of a thing to have every race have one VA wave. Almost every race is close to some form of either VA or base. I mean, Seattle would be an awesome one. And I'm going to poke the bear. Speaking of Dan, the bear, see if he can reach out to the Seattle, either Everett or Seattle VA, and see if we can do something up here. So
That'd be awesome.
With our friends from Beast OCR, we'd be able to field enough people to come out and support on a 2 to 3 mile sprint.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Adam would be able to definitely get enough people for that, I would think.
Yep. So that's something we'll reach out to Dan about and see if we can maybe do something like that up here. Another huge race for More Heart Than Scars, and just for anybody who wants to do an amazing race, you got WarX out in Ohio, and I hope to have the race director from there back on here shortly on the show.
I would love to. I would love to go there. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like besides that, and there's like I think doesn't Julie do a race in Ohio?
She does, the Black Swamp Runner.
I said those are the only two reasons I can think of going to Ohio.
I mean, there is the Cincinnati trifecta that More Heart Than Scars is going out to also.
Yeah,
But
I think on Morex and Julie's race, I think would be more reason to go
yeah,
to Ohio.
Phoenix race, anything that they put on is awesome. Jason Fye is an evil mastermind.
He
I
is,
mean,
and he just proposed. Congratulations, by the way.
yes, congratulations to Julie and Jason. Hopefully, we can do a wedding and maybe Mike can be your minister.
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be amazing. I just gotta
Maybe
lose a couple more weight so I can get in the kilt.
go do it out on course.
In the kilt.
Yeah,
I need to
there
lose
you
some weight
go.
so I can fit the kilt. It's almost there.
Yep.
I'm getting there. I haven't actually been losing weight, but my everything's changing from swimming as much as I do and everything else. So yeah.
Couple other big races for the team. They're going out and doing Tougher, or I think it's Tougher Mudder up in Chicago. A whole bunch of team members are going out and doing that. Um, Unfortunately, with Tough Mudder killing the unholy grail this year, I know that really bummed some people out because I'm pretty sure that was a big part of what Hobbit and Poophead were doing, was chasing their unholy grail. But we'll
See,
definitely get on.
I've never paid attention, so I'm not even sure what that is.
Uh, well, I talk about it, but it doesn't exist, so we'll move on.
Yeah, there we go.
Spartan and Tough Mudder found that too many people were doing the absolute minimum to get their unholy grail, and they weren't actually going out and giving every race their all. So they felt like it was kind of a consolation prize at that point, and they don't want to do it until they figure out a way to make it something more competitive or something more of a challenge, is how I understood the conversation.
Yeah. I'm not even going to comment on that because I want to keep myself nice because we're trying to keep good with Spartan.
I mean, Spartan's done some really stupid things lately.
They have. They got rid of two of the best race directors I've ever met.
Yep, and I'm sure there was a lot to it. There's just been a lot of changes at Spartan the last couple of years. Rob Leday moving on. I think he's still doing some contract work for them, but he was the head of MCs for a long time. And then they moved him to front office, and then he moved on. Same thing with Garfield. They announced just a little while back he was moving into front office, and now he's moved on.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is, but they move people to front office and they move on. So hopefully,
Very interesting.
Hopefully we get that figured out. I'm sure that Steve Hammond and Garfield are going to end up places and do some amazing things. Back when Bone Frog, one of the frogs was first trying to come back. Garfield for a long time was actually a course designer there and a line MC, so he was willing to go help and get that going. So I'm sure those guys are going to land on their feet and do something fun.
And I can't wait to see what it is, and I will follow them because they are amazing. Those two are amazing. So when I saw that graphic that those two have been let go, that was not something that made me happy.
Yeah, that was not a very good day for the world of Spartan.
No.
But continuing down the map, if you guys want, the listeners, you just go to the More Heart Than Scars page, and I believe that Mark and Joey have both posted the complete schedule of all the events. So I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just going to go through the highlights that Mike and I are going to be at. Because of course, you as the listener just want to come meet us. That's all it's about, right?
Yep.
Oh wait, no, that's how we get them to not come. Wait.
Hey now, people want to meet us. They do, I swear.
Yeah, all two of them want to meet us, but
Yeah.
But no, like you said, the Seattle Spartan, you hope to be here. I will be here. I know we've got at least Nicole flying up here. She wants to get a trifecta in a single weekend, do the trifecta. And this one will be a whole lot less support because she's not going to have a regular team. When she came up from Portland, we had a great time and did that a couple years ago with her. And I'm hoping that by the time Seattle comes around, we might have a few more athletes traveling up here, possibly some more adaptive athletes. And and we'll get out here and have a good showing because, again, it's Seattle. I'm sure that with Beast OCR and Team West Coast Spartans, between the two of them, we can definitely get enough support to support as many people as that want to come out.
Yeah. And I mean, I know a couple people up there that have said they've wanted to. I mean, Brian, of course, wants to. He said he would help. I mean, he's, I think that's the only reason Brian would do a Spartan at this point is if you called him up and said, hey, come help us with this athlete. And he'd be like, I'm there.
That's pretty much the conversation we did have.
Yeah. I miss Brian. I miss my Sapper brother.
Yep. Now,
I miss you too, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I talk to you every day.
Yeah, that's true.
If you guys want to get crazy, down in Central Florida, November 9th and 10th, World's Toughest Mudder. I don't know who all we're taking on that course, but I do know that More Heart Than Scars will be there. I know that we should have some adaptive athletes. I don't know who all has signed up. I know that Dale and Hobbit are signed up. I think Elizabeth and a handful of others. All the crazies are going to come out of the woodwork for that one. So
I haven't put my name on the list yet, but it's going on.
All right, so you're going to do it again. You're going to be crazy twice.
Yeah.
And then the following weekend on the other coast, over in Northern California, that's when we'll be taking Mariana out again. And we're going to go out and get her sprint. And for the sprint, she's going to do it all self-ambulatory. She's going to walk the sprint.
Oh.
We'll be there to support her and help her through the course. Her interpreter is traveling with her to all these places. So though I am slowly trying to learn sign language very unsuccessfully.
I know a little bit, but I can't show it.
Yeah, I know. The guy at work loved one of the ones I showed him. I have a deaf guy that shops with me, but how's that
I
going?
used to because that's what I did for high school.
Awful.
Wait, what?
So, what? Awful.
Weird.
Yeah, if it's right.
I think
I'm
this is Dirty Pig or something, but I
Yeah,
can't
that's
remember.
a good one for you, Dirty Pig.
Yep. Like I said, that's what I did for high school for my foreign language was sign language, and I don't remember anything.
The crazy thing about that weekend that we're doing NorCal with Mariana, that same weekend is the kind of one of the home races for More Heart Than Scars, the Newberry, South Carolina, and that's another one where we'll have a huge group of people out there, and they'll all be racing together and have a great time. And of course, we finish off every year down in Central Florida. This year, December 7th and 8th, we're going to be down there. We're going to have a couple of different Airbnbs or Verbos or whatever they are. We pretty much take over the town down there. And we'll have the VA wave there for sure. We'll have the Orlando VA. We'll bring out some Spartans to join us. And we're going to be taking Mariana. We're flying her all the way to Florida. And we're going to take her on her first beast and finish out the year in the swamp with the alligators and the bulls that want to chase you and all the fun stuff.
Still can't believe I missed the alligator.
I got pictures. I think I sent you a picture, didn't I? I know I sent you a picture of the mud puppy, but
yeah, you did send me a picture of the alligator. I missed it. I think I was carrying Erica at that point, but
yeah, I mean, last 2 years ago, the bulls were loose and tried to attack Mark. That was fun. They've got videos of that. I think I just posted it as a YouTube clip once or something. But no, it was a lot of fun. This year's race season is going to be fun. It's going to be crazy with me being up here in the Northwest, Mike in the Central U.S. down there hanging out in Houston. Of course, our brother Ted, who's over in Colorado, Utah right now, and he's talking about going abroad. So, I mean, we're trying to get this team spread out coast to coast. Yeah. And technically, because we are officially doing races on both coasts the same weekend later this year, that's officially coast to coast.
Yeah. Which is amazing. I mean, considering where this team was, and I mean to see it grow and see how much it helps people. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is that's the amazing thing is, we've had a few of the athletes on here and some of the volunteers and some of the rest of the team like us. What a lot of people don't think about, all of us have, you can kind of see it behind me. It's been tough. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the whole logo behind me, but the flag and everything, where we talk about the invisible scars that most people miss. You can see, I mean, Erica, obviously she's in a wheelchair. She has no use of her legs. That's that's obviously an adaptive athlete. But then you see some of the people, especially the ones with like Oscar Mike and all of them, that have the the invisible scars that you can't see, the PTSD, the depression, all of that kind of stuff, the anxiety. And most of us team members, one of the reasons why we love this so much, because we all have those invisible scars and
Yep.
we've all had to hide them most of our life. And now we're realizing we don't have to hide those. There are people out there that will help you. There are people out there that you can talk to. If you have these invisible scars and you feel like you're alone, which it can get very lonely sometimes, you can reach out to any of us because most of us that are on this team, we're on this team because we've been there.
That's very true. And one thing we keep talking about coast to coast, and I'm going to put my phone up here real quick because I know a lot of people haven't seen this logo, and it's going to blur itself out. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's blurring itself out because you got the background blurred.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't
Now,
want to focus on that. It did for a
I,
second.
I will go ahead and put it on the screen when we're talking while I edit this. But More Heart Than Scars, Tanzania. Some people don't know about this, but Erica moved part-time to Tanzania and
With
has
her
a
husband.
business, yes, with her new husband, Winfred. Um, Now she's over there part-time, and part of that is now uh, we're looking at ways to build and distribute inexpensive yet durable wheelchairs to children in Tanzania. Because there's actually, Erica told me the story about watching kids literally sitting on the ground, dragging their bodies behind them because they needed a wheelchair, and
Yeah.
and that just it is just crazy to think that that is happening in this world. But through More Heart Than Scars and More Heart Than Scars Tanzania, um, we're going to go ahead and try to solve that.
Yeah. And the thing is too, if you want, the other thing you got to think about too, a lot of people on here, if you want to know because you can't get to one of the events, you can't do any of that, whatever, but you want to help, there are ways. If you go to either one of our Facebook pages or the BeastNet Facebook page, there's, all sorts of links with QR codes where you can donate to More Heart Than Scars. And if you want, if you donate $100 and you send a message to Joey telling him you donated $100, he'll give you a free race.
Yep, it'll be either a Spartan, a Tough Mudder, or now we've got Deka,
Hmm.
Mile Deka. I don't remember what the Deka names are, but the Dekas are covered too.
Which is a
And
great deal. I mean,
well,
right now sprints are going for what, 140?
something crazy like that. Imagine having to actually pay full price for an ultra,
Yeah.
$239, I think.
For $100, we'll give you an ultra.
Yeah. So if you didn't buy a season pass, you need to talk to Joey. You need to reach out to the team, and we'll get you the hookup, best price in town. And
Hmm.
that $100 that doesn't get filtered by Spartan. It doesn't go anywhere else. It goes
No.
directly to More Heart Than Scars, and all they do is turn that around, put that into equipment, put that into um, taking athletes to these races. Mike and I and Joey, we get no reimbursement out of this.
No.
We do this out of our own heart. We fly all around the
Hmm.
country. And in Joey's case, all around the world. He's been to Mount Kilimanjaro twice now. They took Erica up Kilimanjaro. There'll be a movie coming out later this year about it. And we'll be talking a lot about that when it starts to get close. It's called Meandering Scars, put on by the BirdMine Productions Company. Um, First year, God, it had to have been 2021, I think. First year back to racing post COVID. The team from BirdMine was out at the Central Florida Beast with us and took just tons and tons of footage of Erica and the team. And by the time Erica summited Kilimanjaro and got back down, her and Winfred were pretty much engaged and ready to get married. So the world is amazing, and the story that you see when that documentary comes out, you're just going to be surprised. It's amazing. If you
Hmm.
haven't checked out BirdMine before, they actually have a couple of other really great short stories on there right now. There's one about Allison's sister that is currently doing all the circuits of all of the different film festivals. It's called 13. Her sister is got some physical disabilities, and it goes into great depth about that. That's an actual short feature film. Then there's another one with Ryan Mason, former Miss Wheelchair USA, and last year's Miss America, talking about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, because they both suffer from it. One of them's already in a wheelchair. One of them will probably eventually be in a wheelchair. And they had a great conversation that was facilitated by Allison and the team at BirdMine, and they put that together. So yes, I'm out here just kind of pimping my friends today, but
no, that's fine.
But these are just great people who do great things for other people. They're not out here looking for self-promotion. They're out here doing this because they love other people. They love humankind. So.
And that's what amazes me about this whole group. I mean, once you got me involved with More Heart Than Scars, I mean, at first I'm like, okay, this is kind of, whatever. But then once I really got to know the people and got to know everything, they're just here for the athletes. It's like, I think I've talked to a couple people on here, about, being volunteering and going out and doing this. And you forget that you're out there to do a race because you're not. Because like World's Toughest, I wasn't out there to do World's Toughest. I was out there so Marla could do World's Toughest. When I did, for my birthday, I went out to Florida and I did the Beast. I wasn't there so I could do the Beast. I was there so Erica could do the Beast.
I think you were there just because you wanted Bear to sing you happy birthday.
I had no idea that was going to happen in your day. Just saying. But, but I mean, it was amazing. And I mean, that was the one thing, because I've talked to Erica so many times, and it was so amazing to do the race with her. And how much trust she has in the group. I mean, I can remember the first time, like she was coming over one of the things and she's like, Mike, catch me. And I'm like, what? And all of a sudden, like, okay, and I picked her up and carried her. And I mean, it was just kind of one of those things, like, I've never had someone put that much trust in me so easily and everything else. And it was just, and I don't know if it's because we've talked so much or if that's just the way she is, but it was just amazing to me that I could do that, she was able to do that race because we were there to help her.
Yeah.
And she was able to experience that. And how many other athletes are able to experience this because we're there? With Nicole, it was amazing because we were there to help her, but she did so much on her own that I didn't get it as much that time. And I also had a lot on my brain too, because I was planning on doing the Ironman the next day. Didn't know how bad that was going to go. But so I mean, I had that on my mind too, but I mean, this time it was all about, the whole race was about Erica and just getting Erica through and making it all work, and how much she did on her own too. I mean, she is so strong and so amazing, which is was so great to see how many things she could do by herself, that it wasn't just about us helping her. She did so much, just her, which is just amazing.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's just changed lives. You mentioned how Nicole did the Portland race with us, and she did it mostly by herself. Well, that was what 6 months after I did the first race that she'd ever done, where she was fully in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And at that race, she wanted to do the barbed wire crawl, and there was no physical way to get the wheelchair there. And so Dale and myself and Juan and I don't remember who else, maybe Tegan or somebody, we actually like crawled on the ground, functioning her legs and balancing her so that she could walk the 100 yards and be able to do the barbed wire crawl. And that was the thing that got her motivated to find some what do you call those, braces for her ankles, and to work with the physical trainers and get back to the part where she can walk. Mm-hmm. And actually, I've seen video of her jogging, which, we haven't jogged or ran on course together yet because I don't know why, but probably because I'm slow and fat. But she went from in a wheelchair to walking, which I maybe fibbed a little. I told her that Portland was a very flat course. I forgot about that one stupid hill.
One.
That's the one that mattered. But
I thought
yeah,
you quit drinking.
Seattle was flatter than Portland was,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we got her up there, and it was over 4 miles was the total course on that one, and she did every obstacle that she
Mm-hmm.
wanted to. She, was able to walk with her arm crutches, and honestly, that's probably one of the best pictures that I've got up in the office in Newark. Is the picture of all of us that Spartan took, where we were all lined up and the flags were out, and it was just a beautiful picture.
Am I in that picture?
Yeah.
You know what's really bad, and this sounds so bad since COVID, I don't think I've downloaded one picture.
I've
I
taken a
had
few thousand, so
I had so many before I would go into one and I would find every picture of me and download it. Since COVID, I'm like, whatever.
yeah. And the other two athletes that I kind of wanted to call out a little bit, in the 3 4 years that I've been doing this, 4 years now, I guess, with More Heart Than Scars. Wow. Yeah, it's been 4 years I've been doing this with them. And, we started out, um, Bess, when she first came out with us for her first race, she was pretty much quadriplegic. She could move her arms a little bit, but I remember that first time I met her, I had to actually hold her drink and let her, sip through a straw, and she wasn't moving or
Wow.
feeling very much. She was a Pilates instructor that got in a motorcycle accident and lost the ability to walk completely. And just in the 3 years that we've been working with her, she's actually walking. The last race, there was more than a quarter mile where she walked up and down hill, and it's not fast walking or anything, but she's ambulatory now. She can get around. She's overcoming. I'm pretty sure they told her she wasn't going to walk again. And now she's starting to get back into Pilates to go
That's
from
awesome.
quadriplegic to Pilates. So I mean, it's just amazing the things the human body can do. And when you have the right people around you and with the right mindset and the right support, how much more you can do.
And I think that's one thing a lot of people don't realize. There's so many times where mindset is everything. I know it's cliche to say it, but if you say you can't, you can't because you're not
Uh,
going to try and you've already given up.
the hurricane heats and like last weekend with the death race, it's the people who finish those races, the death races or the Bataan March or even a 50 miler, the people who finish that, it's not because they're the strongest or the fittest or anything. It's because they have the right mindset. And I
Yeah.
know Joe DeCina talks about that. David Goggins talks about it. Jocko Wilnick talks about it. Your body will do so much more than you think it can do.
Oh yeah.
And watching these athletes basically heal severed nerves and walk and move and climb things that they never were supposed to be able to do, it's just been freaking amazing.
hmm Yeah, it's been awesome. And that's one of the things. I mean, your mindset sets everything. And I think that's one of the things I've been trying to get over quite a bit lately is, I let after I basically fell over on the Ironman or I crashed, whatever you want to call it, fell over. Um, and I
You
hurt
didn't
my
know how to
shoulder
unclip your feet.
pretty much. And I hurt my shoulder and my knee. I used as an excuse. And the thing is, too, I think a lot of people don't realize at that point, my body was destroyed. I mean, it had been over 2 years of running 100 miles every month, doing all that stuff. I was already having issues before that happened because I wouldn't give myself breaks. And that's one thing that I've made sure of on this time training. I mean, I'm swimming. I mean, anybody who's on my Strava can see it. I'm swimming 1,000 meters a day, Monday through Friday. Riding the bike on my trainer, twice a week, doing the week, running at least a 5K twice a week during the week, and then Saturday and Sunday I up that. So I'm pushing hard right now, but I'm also taking Fridays off. Well, okay, I'm still swimming on Fridays, but swimming is whatever. But I'm taking Friday off from the impacts and
Yep.
all that stuff. And then sometimes in the middle, I do take a day. Like I took this Wednesday, not just because it was Valentine's Day, just because I needed, or Tuesday actually, the day before Valentine's Day, because I just needed a day to let my body relax.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing I think a lot of people don't think about. Take that day because you need to. But if you have that mindset and keep pushing, you can get yourself there. But like I said, if you also have the opposite mindset, you'll fall down.
Yep. And that's I hear you talk about it all the time on the show with Megan, the OCR trainer.
Mhm.
She beats you up because you don't follow a plan, you don't write down the plan, and you
I
know
just
exactly what you do wrong, but you still keep doing it. But it
yes,
sounds like you're starting to listen a little bit.
a little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
It's
So
just taken 4 years of talking to her every week to figure that out.
yeah, I love Megan. She's amazing. But yeah, so and that's it. I'm just pushing, trying to get a plan. I've been taking notes, seeing what I'm doing. I'm also been working, like I said, with the URUC endurance. There might be some interesting things coming out of there soon. I've got a whole notebook here of ideas for stupid challenges. Some of them are stolen, and I'll admit it right off the bat. I mean, but I will make sure I give them credit. Some of them are stolen from Battle Miles. I stole their ideas. Um, Ruck and Run. I've got a couple that I've stolen their ideas, but I'm using their ideas, and anytime I use their ideas, anything, I'll make sure they get credit for it. But I mean, I'm pushing to, maybe be doing something with URUC here soon. URUC Endurance, some kind of crazy event.
Awesome. That's
So
gonna
I
be
haven't even
fun.
told Don about that. That's the first time he gets to hear about it.
Yeah, well, that's because you're crazy and you're a jerk.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. I hope we get Juan Carlos on here soon so you can announce it and talk about it.
I'm hoping we got to get some things that we're working on. I mean, I did send you that cool pic in one of the pictures. If you notice, that's Juan Carlos with a BeastNet patch on his back,
Yep.
on his
Yeah,
ruck.
probably time to order up some more.
I got one left.
Nice. Yeah, it's probably
That's
time
not
to
on
order.
that. I've got the one on my pack and then one more that I
Nice.
happened to find in a random box. That's why Juan Carlos got one, because I found a random box with 3 in them. I gave one to Juan Carlos, one to Jamie, and then I've got one left.
So somebody's got to come earn that. They need to come to Houston, Texas, and do a ruck with you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So I know we're both running out of time, and we've been on the horn for about 45 minutes, anyways. Really, I just wanted to come on the show, catch up with you, and talk about the 2024 BeastNet / More Heart Than Scars race season and what's up and coming with the East and West Coast finally being a reality. And I kind of dropped a little bit about Tanzania. I'm going to catch Erica next time she's in town, and we're going to talk to her about that and elaborate further and help her do some fundraising so we can get some more wheelchairs up there for kids.
I would love to do that. And that's one thing you're going to see too, is we're going to be, I mean, you've been seeing it anyway, that there's more emphasis on More Heart Than Scars through BeastNet. We are partnering. I mean, it's not really just partnering. We volunteer for More Heart Than Scars so they get what they want. And we help them in any way possible because it's an amazing charity. So there will be more Heart Than Scars. I think we're going to have more of the volunteers on there, more of the team members on here, and try and get more of the athletes, the adaptive athletes on here, so you guys can get an understanding of how amazing it is to go out there and do stuff with these people.
All right. Well, checking out from Seattle, and love you guys. See you guys on the course soon. This will probably be the one time you see me on the BaseNet podcast this year. Maybe more.
I'll come back.
Yeah, whatever. All right. You guys have a good night.
See you later.
Thanks for listening to the BeastNet podcast. If you haven't done it yet, find us on Facebook, like and share the podcast. Give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. All these things will help to expand the show in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear.